I've been talking all about saving or making an extra $65 a day and then putting that money into a high yield savings account to then make more money. And so many people are clapping back saying, how is that possible? And I promise you, it is easier than you think. Well, my name is Sarah, and on this channel I talk about how I make money to travel. So sometimes you might see a little bit of travel, sometimes you might see a little bit of how I make money. One way that I do make money to allow myself to travel is selling used clothes on eBay. Now, this video is going to talk about all the sales I had in the month of December, specifically to eBay. I do also sell on Poshmark, Mercari, and I've just started on Depop. Haven't made any sales there yet, but this video is just focusing on eBay. So here we go. The very first thing to sell in the month of December on eBay was an Abercrombie and Fitch. I always want to say Finch for some reason. Don't know where that came from, but always, even since I was younger, I always wanted to say Finch. But it was a sweatshirt. This did sell for $5.99 plus shipping. So the buyer did pay for shipping for this. This did come from ThredUp. If you are new to my channel, you may not know, I, for the longest time, have gotten the majority of my inventory from ThredUp rescue boxes. I estimate my cost of goods to be about $2 because there's a lot of stuff in those boxes that I take out. So I take that out of the cost of goods, which raises the cost of goods to just about $2 because they are about $50 a piece. I usually get about 25 pieces per box that are, you know, actually sellable. This next piece was a Lucky brand bralette. This also came from a ThredUp rescue box, so that cost of goods was about $2. This sold for $10 plus shipping, so a little bit more than that last piece. This next one was a donation. It actually came from my significant other. They were cleaning out their closet. This was one of the pieces they wanted to get rid of because we are Florida based. But this was a pair of Coach gloves. They were wool and they had that like that touch screen, like different materials so that you can mess with your phone in the cold. Obviously, we didn't need that anymore in Florida. Those ended up selling for $16.50. So I did make some profit on that, especially because it was a pure donation. It was 100% free. Donation, pure profit. To me, those are always the good ones. This next one was also a donation, but let's talk about it here. This was a fringe tassel keychain. Now, one person did donate a whole bunch of stuff to me, and this was just one piece. Quite honestly, I probably should have just taken it to Plato's Closet or something, but at that point in my listing, I was listing just anything. This sold for $5 plus free shipping, so I basically just gave it away. Sometimes it's like that. This next piece also came from the exact same person, so sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't work out. This was a Lacoste. I never know how to pronounce this brand, but you'll see it on the screen here. Is a pair of canvas sneakers. They were size 6.5. They ended up selling for $35 and plus shipping, so the buyer paid for shipping. Again, that was a complete donation to me, so I'll take the profit on that compared to my last sale that was basically giving away for free. This next piece also was a donation. This was from somebody else. This was a friend of mine gave me a Cat and Jack black mini skirt. This sold for $5 plus way too much shipping. I think it was like $12.50 shipping. Sometimes I just take the like whatever eBay auto calculates it to be, and I probably should have been paying attention to how much it was because I don't know who in their right mind would pay $12.50 for shipping, but somebody did. I'm glad they did because that worked out in my favor. That was a donation to me, and while I feel bad, the buyer knew how much money the shipping was and they still paid it. So I guess that's kind of on them. That's how I feel about it, at least. This next piece came from a ThredUp rescue box. It was an airy offline cropped waffle knit shirt. This sold for $8.99 plus shipping minus that $2 cost of goods from ThredUp. This next piece also came from a ThredUp rescue box. It was a Dr. Seuss like scrub top, just the top. This sold for $5.99 plus the buyer paid for shipping for it as well. This next piece was a crew neck sweatshirt. Now, this felt like the most amazing buttery soft sweatshirt I have ever felt. I thought it was Lululemon to start, but it didn't have that, recognizable symbol. I thought it was Athleta. Couldn't find any kind of tag, nothing to it. But I swear it was like the softest thing ever. Because there was no tag, there was no size tag, there was no materials tag, there was no RN number, there was literally no identifier on this. It was very difficult to list it. I even tried doing Google Lens. It didn't come up with anything specific, so I just kind of had to list it as is and kind of take the chance on it. If I was able to identify what it was, it probably would have went for a little bit more, but because there was zero identifier and I guessed on the size, it sold for $4.99 plus shipping. If it was closer to my size, I probably would have just kept it on my own, but it wasn't. I sold it. Either somebody knew what it was and they lucked out, or it was just, I don't know, Amazon and it was really soft and I was tricked. I don't know. Sometimes it's like that. Sometimes when I'm at Goodwill, I will pass by a whole bunch of stuff that just feels cheap. Like you can just feel when something is cheap. And then all of a sudden I'll come to something that feels so high quality. And then I'll look at the tag and realize that it's like Target or something. Like sometimes it tricks you in those ways. So maybe it wasn't anything. I'm just overthinking it. Who knows? But now it's out of my house and now gotta move on in life. This next piece was kind of a donation in a sense. It was actually a gift from, I think, my significant other, like, I don't know, probably 10 years ago. And it was a little bit scratched up and I never wore it. The battery was dead. I didn't put in the effort to get a new battery. Honestly, I usually wear my Apple Watch anyways. And when I'm out, like, dinner and whatnot, I don't use the Apple Watch. I just put on a simple little bracelet. So it wasn't getting any use, even though it was a gift. The gift of money just keeps on giving. So I went ahead and sold it. It sold for $35 plus shipping. Again, the battery was dead. I didn't put forth the effort to put in the battery, so I thought that was an okay price for it to go. This next piece was identified as Athleta. It was an Athleta purple tank top. It sold for $2.99 plus free shipping. So somebody, I paid to ship it out. I lost money on this one. I don't know how I didn't catch that it was listed for $2.99 and free shipping, but whoever got this really, really got a deal on my mistake. Sometimes, is like that. But when you're dealing with these little sales, I don't know, it happens. This next piece came from a ThredUp rescue box as well. It was a Z Supply sleeveless dress. I wore this a couple of times, but I decided to go ahead and list it because the sleeve, like, it went down a little bit too far, so it like showed the top of my bra, and that's not cute. I wore it as a cover up a couple of times and it just, I don't know, it wasn't it. So I went ahead and sold it. This sold, excuse me, talking too much. This sold for $6.69 plus shipping, and this again was from ThredUp, so it cost the $2. This next item that sold was a donation, the same person that donated the other shoes to me. This was a Lord & Taylor Design Lab gingham print sandals. These were completely new. They sold for $22 plus shipping. Again, pure profit to me because I had $0 in the cost of goods for those ones. This next piece I wore so many times. They were Outdoor Voices oversized sweatpants. in my size that I got from a ThredUp rescue box. And let me tell you, I 100% was able to wear these. I wore them basically like every day because they were so comfortable. But in these ThredUp rescue boxes, I get loungewear all the time. So I'm just, you know, wear it until it sells, and then I get more, and then I get more. So I wasn't that mad about it selling. It did only sell for $8 plus shipping, but again, I wore it so many times that was okay for me. Now this next piece also came from a ThredUp rescue box. I'll be honest, I probably could have sold it for a little bit more, but I'm not in a storage business. This was a Free People Feeling Groovy Maxi dress, was the style name of the dress. This sold for $27 plus shipping. Again, my cost of goods on those ThredUp rescue box pieces are about $2. Like I said, I probably could have gotten a little bit more for that, but I just wanted to flip it over so I can reinvest and get other stuff. Another piece from, you guessed it, a ThredUp rescue box. This was a pair of American Eagle super stretch low-rise jeans. They were distressed, or they were kind of like faux distressed, because there was distressing, but then there was like, I don't know, still denim behind it. Like it wasn't a completely see-through distressing, I guess. These sold for $6 plus shipping. Again, they came from ThredUp rescue box, just like this next piece. It was a Shein pair of green dress pants. Honestly, probably shouldn't have listed these. I probably should have taken them to Plato's Closet, but I don't know, I did. Sometimes it happens. They were new with tags, so that's probably why I listed them. I'm like, oh, new with tags. I got a little too excited as I was listing things. They sold for $1 plus shipping. So I lost money on that because my cost of goods on those ThredUp rescue boxes are about $2. So I don't know. You see the real life of what happens with these ThredUp rescue boxes and just reality of reselling. I know I see sometimes on different YouTube videos, people have these crazy sales, and that's not always realistic. It's sometimes more realistic to see losing money, these low-dollar sales, because that's the majority of people is what they're selling. And I think that's the majority of people that connect with me specifically on this channel, is just everyday brands. You lose money on some of them, and that is okay. This next piece I did not lose money from. Oh, no, came out pretty much even. It was a time and true pink denim jacket. This I wore a couple of times. You know, I'm not afraid to say that I wear the clothes. Actually, this jacket is also for sale that I am wearing. Not mad about it. Not gonna, I don't know, hide the fact that I wear the clothes that I sell. But anyways, this time and true pink denim jacket sold for $6.50 plus free shipping. Plus I got to wear it a couple of times. So I guess it's almost like I rented it in a sense, which I guess kind of it is that way. I did a lot of Rent the Runway, so I rent clothes to wear, and kind of in this sense, it's like the same thing. I don't get to keep the clothes, but I basically get to wear them for free. This next piece I didn't get to wear. It was an Old Navy black super soft pair of leggings. These sold for $7 plus shipping, so the buyer paid for shipping. These came from a ThredUp rescue box with that $2 cost of goods. This next piece I really wish I was able to wear. It sold while I was on winter break. I am in education, so I do go on that winter break in December going into January. Had it not sold while I was still on break, I definitely would have wore it to work, but I didn't get the opportunity because I sold it. I think it was only listed for like a week before it sold. It was a vintage tweed blazer that was multicolored, very bright, very vibrant. I absolutely adored it, but it did end up selling for $15.02 plus shipping, so I made money on it. I didn't get to wear it, but I did love it so much, and I really wish that I was able to. This next thing that sold, I was really not gonna list it at all. Like, it was in my donation pile, and last second I took it out for, honestly, I don't know why. Like, I was literally filling up my bag to go donate, and I saw this. I'm like, let me just give it a try. If it doesn't list, then I'll donate it, or if it doesn't sell, I'll donate it later. It was a Casper 2-piece set. It was black with red lining. I think that red lining is what called me to it. Like, that is really cool. If it was in my size, I'd probably wear it. It was not in my size, but because I liked it, I listed it, which, I don't know. I wouldn't recommend only listing things that you like, because other people like things and you can make money off of them, but sometimes that's what gets you to list something like this, that I made money off of it. Now, this 2-piece set sold for $20.50 plus shipping. The shipping on this piece took 3 weeks. Like, I am not kidding you, 3 weeks. Sometimes, actually most of the time, when I ship stuff out, I kind of forget about it, let it do its thing, until the buyer reached out to me and said, I see that it was shipped. Do you have any updates at all on the tracking? And then I kind of like copied and pasted the tracking. I said, the tracking looks like it is in this city at this time. Not even looking at their address. I'll be honest, I just said it looks like it's in this city, assuming that it was at their like distribution site. No, it was like on the other side of the country. Like, I think it was in Kansas and it was going to California or something. No, it was going backwards. It was in Kansas and it was going to, I think, Boston. Like, it didn't make sense from Florida, Kansas, Boston. Sometimes how the mail goes, it doesn't really make any sense to me, but I felt so bad that this literally took 3 weeks. I did end up getting positive feedback on this because the buyer was like, it's not your fault. You shipped it on time. It's just the crazy shipping times right now. And then that kind of prompted me to look at my other sales. Shipping is taking so long right now. Like, on Poshmark, it gives you kind of a notification like your item is taking longer to reach its destination, I think is how they word it. I've gotten so many of those notifications. I don't know what's going on with the post office right now, but it is taking forever. So caution of advice. I never ever, when a buyer asks when they are going to receive an item, I never, ever, and I don't recommend you do, promise a delivery date. I promise a shipping date. So I say that I'm typically going to ship within 2 days. That doesn't mean they're going to receive it within 2 days like Amazon. It doesn't mean they're going to receive it in 4 days. I'm, on my part, saying that I'm going to ship within 2 days, and whatever happens from there is not on me. It is not on you as the seller to promise a time when something is going to be delivered. Just want to make that very clear, because I've had several people come back to me and say, I really wanted it on this date and it didn't make it. That's not my problem. I shipped it on time. You should have ordered it earlier. Like, that's my honest thought. Obviously, I don't snap back that much in my comments back, but it is what it is. Now, moving on from that story, from that little tangent, this next piece sold while I was actually wearing it. It was a LTK Shop oversized jacket, and this was the perfect travel piece that I was actually wearing on the plane when it sold. It sold for $19.73 plus shipping. It did come from a thredUP rescue box, so it did have a cost of goods of about that $2. This next piece also came from a thredUP rescue box, which I will go ahead and say probably could have sold it for a little bit more, but because my cost of goods was just $2, I was willing to let it go because I am not a storage business. This Athleta Stellar Cargo Black Travel Pants were new at tag, and they sold for $30.40, plus the buyer paid for shipping. That's everything that sold for me in the month of December, specifically to eBay. If you are interested in hearing what sold in December on Mercari, that is going to be my next video, so you don't miss it. Make sure you hit subscribe and like this video so I'll continue to come up in your algorithm. It really is that easy to make just a little bit more of money each day from doing something new.